The jungle has a way of holding on to people. As the officers like to say, the Legionnaire may leave Guyana, but Guyana will never leave the Legionnaire.
He will get out of the jungle after 3 weeks of an operation. He will be a changed man. Just to say that, he will be a very changed man.
Protect the guard! Protect the force! Protect the wall!
If there's an elite unit of the French Foreign Legion, it's the paratroopers who make up the Airborne's 2nd Regiment. Based on the island of Corsica, just off the coast of southern France. These men are the best the Legion has to offer. Here at Camp Rafale, 1,100 Legionnaires and 60 French officers hone their skills to a fighting edge. Their reward? The top combat assignments in the Legion.
There's nobody in the regiment who doesn't jump. Everybody has to jump. If you're a clerk, if you're a cook, doesn't matter what you do, you still jump.
They jump in all kinds of conditions and terrain, even in full gear, at night, far out to sea. Paddy Malone has been at it with the Legion for the past 18 years.
Not an easy life. It's not, it's not a pushover thing. We're soldiers, professional soldiers, trained to do a professional job.
The action begins at 15,000 feet, and the training ensures they'll be ready when the real battles come. With hundreds of jumps to their credit, they're the masters of free fall.
I would compare us to any other parachute regiment in the world. We can keep up with them, no problem.
Rapid insertion is the backbone of special operations, like those conducted in the world's war on terror. Small commando units made up of 7-man teams race against the clock. From insertion to extraction, they have only 11 minutes to complete their mission. The key is to be swift, silent, and deadly.
One of our strongest points is we can go in any situation and we always come out, on top. We can adapt to any situation, anything. Or go into the mountains or go on the plains, we don't care. Just go in there and get it done, go in there and get the job done to prove our reputation, to prove that we are what we are and we can do what we do, you know? That we are as good as people say we are.
Today's Legionnaire may be technologically superior to his predecessor, but both share a common origin.
Inside, the Legionnaires are the same they were 50, 100 years ago. When they join, they learn to build an armor. Outside, they are really strong men, good warriors, very disciplined. They look impressive. But each of them has a hidden face.
No matter their reason for joining, their willingness to face death makes them the perfect soldiers. When he enlists, a Legionnaire puts his fate in his commander's hands. No questions asked.
If we get sent somewhere to fight, either we finish it or we stay. Basically, the French army's got no scruples whatsoever to send us to places where you die. Because we're foreigners.
Serving under the banner of the United Nations hasn't thrown off their stride.
In 1993, we're in Sarajevo. We had to wear the Berry Blue. There was a big discussion, should the Foreign Legion wear a Berry Blue? If you get sent to do that particular job, to fill in that particular task, the colour of the beret doesn't matter. For us, it comes within.
What will never change is the way Legionnaires and the Legion see each other.
I think the Legion will always remain a home for some people who had troubles in their life and who wants to find something hard to realize themselves.
That's what makes the Legion unique. When you've got a bunch of guys that have been lived together for 5 years, they get to know each other, you know? They know when not to push and when to push. When to give a guy a smack on the head, like, you know, and not to do it. And the guys have their ups and downs, you know? It's like a family, you know?
After 5 years, a Legionnaire's service ends. Chances are, he's gone through combat. If so, odds are 1 in 10 he didn't make it out alive. If he survives combat and serves out his contract, he's free to leave. Before he does, he has a choice. Take back his old identity, or keep his Legionnaire name with a new French passport. Thomas Kadish decided to go back to his old self. With his identity restored, he returned home and eventually married. But his years of service in the Legion took their toll.
Where you served for 5 years under a different name, suddenly you become, once again, the person you were before you began. Can you go back to your life? Can you go back to who you were when you joined? You're still the same person, but you're not.
For those who choose to stay, the Legion can become a home they never leave. And after a lifetime of adventure, they retire to Domaine d'Anjou, a chateau in southern France, where the Legion looks after its own.
They owe their allegiance not to a king, not to a constitution, it's to the organization.
Hey!
They are probably the ultimate builders, the penultimate builders of this thing called unit cohesion.
At the end of Operation Desert Storm, the Legion awarded U.S. General Norman Schwarzkopf one of its highest honors.
When they made me a member of the Legion, they gave me a card with a telephone number on it. It said, if you are anywhere in the world and you get in trouble, call this number and we will come to your aid.
100%! Consommation 100%!
Revered by many, condemned by others, the French Foreign Legion is unlike any other fighting force in the world. An army within an army. A depository for the world's misfits, adventurers, and romantics. Legionnaires live by a code of honor, based on discipline, solidarity, and respect. They fight for France, but swear allegiance only to each other. They're holdovers from a simpler time. Warriors first, countrymen last, fighting together until the bitter end.